Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Hello and good afternoon. Welcome back to our latest episode of Musical Musings. We bring this program to you every week on Wednesday at 1 p.m. We broadcast this from Rajmakon University of Technology, Pranakon. I will bring this program to you in two parts. In the first part, we will discuss the singer or the band that sings this song. This week, it is a singer, one singer. So we will discuss the singer that sings the song, and we will talk about the main themes of the song. A theme means what it's about. We will talk about what the song is about. Then we will listen to the song. And in the second part of our song, we will go through the lyrics, go through the words of the song. This is an interesting one this week. We have a lot of vocabulary and words that may not be easy to understand. Actually, it's a pretty short song. It repeats itself a lot. But the few things in here, we do have a number of issues here where there may be some difficult vocabulary that you don't understand. So we will talk about the difficult vocabulary, the slang, the idioms, anything that is hard to understand. Then we'll bring you the news and updates from the university as usual.
Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Gary Gray, and I am your host for the Musical Musings program, which we air every Wednesday here at 1 p.m. I'm an American English teacher from Rajmakon University of Technology, Pranakon. I have been here 7 years, and although I teach English, I have a love for music, so I do try to incorporate it into my lesson plans occasionally. Not too often. We have to do what we need to do for our lessons, but I try to incorporate it into my lesson plans when I can. And so that's why I'm doing this program. I do your music program here at Rajmakon. All right, so for today, we are doing the song All by Myself. This is a song by Carmen. So let's talk a little bit about Mr. Carmen before we get into the song. As I told you in the intro, we talk about the band first. In this case, it's not really a band. He just is by himself. Sometimes he has some accompanying instrumentation with him, but basically it's just him. So it's just Carmen. All right, so Carmen, he was born in 1949. Any one of you that watch this program regularly know that I like to talk about some older bands, so older groups. I have two reasons for that. One reason is that from my experience here in Thailand, I know that most Thai people appreciate older Western songs. For example, everyone here knows Take Me Home, Country Roads. Everyone knows that song. Most people know the Bee Gees. A lot of people, and this one's surprising to me because most people in America don't know him, but a lot of people here know Boney M. You know the song Rasputin? If you've heard that song, I just heard it the other day on the radio here in Thailand about 3 or 4 days ago. Just heard that. The song Rasputin by Boney M. All of these songs are songs from the 1970s, maybe even the 1960s, because I heard Puff the Magic Dragon on the radio one time, which that actually might be from the 60s. It might be from the 70s. Not sure. I'd have to look up the timing on that song. It's right around there. It's right around 69, 70, 71, 72, something like that. So this is a genre of music that I think Thai people will like. The other reason I like to focus on these older groups is these older bands is because I think a lot of folks, even though you like this style of music, eh, there's no reason why you would have been exposed to or heard of someone like Eric Carmen. He actually wasn't that famous. Certainly not what we call a one-hit wonder. A one-hit wonder is a group that has like one big song and that's it. They're gone. No, he had a few. Not a one-hit wonder. But he didn't have a lot of hits. So not that famous. You may not know him. There's no reason for you to know him. Even though the song we're going to do today, which is All By Myself, is a really good song, you may not know him. So this is why I like to focus on some of the older groups. Most Thai people like this genre of music. Not all of them. I did a exercise with my students this semester. Gave them some older music. One of them, their reaction was, "Oh, this music is terrible." so no, not no. Some people want the modern music. They want to hear Beyonce. They want to hear Taylor Swift. They want to hear K-pop songs, whatever. But a lot of Thai people do like these older songs. So that's why I focus on it. So Eric Carmen. He is born in 1949 in Ohio, which is in America. All right, so now why did I choose him this week? Sadly, we just started this program within the last year. It seems like half of my episodes are like tribute episodes because someone passed away. We have had some just terrible tragedies with people passing away. Several weeks ago, many weeks ago now, it's probably been, I don't know, maybe a few months, maybe 3-4 months ago, we highlighted Tina Turner because she passed away. Well, Eric Carmen just passed away last week. We don't have a specific day. The way they announced it, they didn't give the day, and it could have been one day or the other or the next or whatever. So we don't know what day he passed away. But it was within the last week. So sadly, Eric Carmen has passed away. He was old, but he wasn't that old. He was like 74. I mean, yeah, that's old. It's not that old. My own mother is in her 80s. 74 is not that old. So kind of sad for him to pass away that young. He was 74 years old. He had not had his birthday yet this year. He was born in 1949. You do the math. He should be 75, right? It's 2024, born in 1949. But he hadn't had his birthday yet. So he was 74. All right. So Eric Carmen, again, he was born in Ohio. So this is an American performer. We get a lot of British performers here. British were really great with music, which is kind of surprising. Much smaller population. You'd think America would have much bigger population, many more great singers. So Britain is really great at turning out the great performers. But not this time. This time we're talking about someone from America. He's from Ohio. That's in the middle of America. And he is a piano player and a singer. The genre, anyone that watches this program knows I don't like this topic, but we have to talk about it because everyone wants to know. He's generally a pop singer. It's pop music. Pop comes from the word popular, which means it's basically just whatever's popular. And it's very similar to soft rock. In fact, you could say he was soft rock. And in fact, the band he was with before he went solo, which was called the Raspberries, is probably a little more rock than he was. So you'd probably call the Raspberries soft rock, but you'd call Eric Carmen pop. Okay. All right. So as I mentioned to you, he started with the Raspberries, and the Raspberries broke up in 1975. So Eric Carmen then went on a solo journey to try to make himself popular. And really, almost as soon as he started, he was popular. Raspberries broke up in 1975. The song we're going to do today, probably his most famous, maybe second, just because the other one was used in a movie that was very popular. But maybe his most popular song came out in 1976, only 1 year later. And that's the song we're doing today. So let's talk about the song. We're doing All By Myself by Eric Carmen. Now, All By Myself, it's a song. You know, I said there's a lot we need to talk about with the lyrics. There is, but in some ways it's very self-explanatory as well. Self-explanatory, what that means is you can understand it without someone explaining it to you. Self means you. Explanatory. So you can explain it to yourself. And what that means is that you don't need someone to tell you what it's about. You get it. It's self-explanatory. You understand. You don't need to tell me about it. It's kind of like that because of the title, All By Myself. About being lonely, right? It is. But there are a lot of words. It's mostly the vocabulary words he uses, like insecure, obscure. What does that mean? It's mostly the words he uses that could be a little bit confusing to you. So we do have several words and things like that. All right, so this is a pretty long song, so let me cut this off here for our first half of our program. Let's get on to the song. If you're joining us on YouTube, the copyright issues prevent us from embedding the video here. Actually, I think there are ways we can do it, but like if you put it small, whatever. But we try to be really careful, so we don't embed the videos. So if you want to watch the video, you need to watch the video. Listen to the song first. We're going to give you the link. It's in the upper right corner. I think that's over here. I'm not sure. I think so. I think that's where it appears. That's my left. But for the camera, that would be the right. So I think that's where it is. Could be over here. Not sure. So it's going to be in the upper right-hand corner. So take a look at the video. Watch the video. It's kind of a long song, but that's mostly just because there's kind of a instrumental bit in the middle. It's really not that long if you just take the lyrics. There's like I said, long instrumental bit in the middle. So click on that. If you're watching on YouTube, click on that link. After you hear or watch the video, come back to us here, and I will explain the lyrics to you. If you are listening on radio or streaming, no problem. You're just going to hear the music. So you should be able to listen just fine. All right, let's get to the song.
Musical musings, musical musings, musical musings, musical musings.
Welcome back. All right, so this is a song kind of about loneliness, really. You hear him repeat, I don't want to live all by myself many times. Well, yeah, that's loneliness, right? You're probably not going to say that if you're not by yourself, right? So he's saying he doesn't want to live that way. So he's lonely, doesn't want to live all by himself. All right, so let's get to these lyrics. So we start out, when I was young, I never needed anyone. Making love was just for fun. Those days are gone. Okay. So when he was young, he never needed anyone. If you interpret that literally, you may not understand that. I mean, when you're young, of course you need people, right? Maybe you need your parents to help you. Depends how young you are. Depends what you're talking about here. But what he's talking about here is like when he was maybe in his early 20s. So he's just out there in the world, figuring out his own way. And that's why it says making love was just for fun. He's out there, doing things just to have fun. There wasn't love involved. It was all passion and lust. He was out there being with people just to have fun. Making love. When we say making love in English, doesn't necessarily really mean love. Doesn't mean you love that person. Making love is a saying we use for, you can guess. So, so making love was just for fun. But his next line says, those days are gone. Gone. It's over. So he's looking for more. He is looking for more. Okay, he continues on. Living alone, I think of all the friends I've known. When I dial the telephone, nobody's home. All right, there's nothing confusing there in the vocabulary, right? Living alone, he's alone, by himself. Thinks of all the friends he's known. Dials the telephone. Nobody's home. Okay, nothing confusing there. So what does he mean? What's he talking about? What he's saying is that all of his friends are not alone. They're not home. They're out with their girlfriends or their boyfriends. That's why they're not home. He's the only one that's alone. Okay? So that's the point. It's kind of a sad song, really. This is a sad song. He's by himself, and he's the only one that's by himself. He's sitting home, sad, all alone. Let's call my friends. Beep, 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 boop, 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 boop. Nope, not home. No answer. Not home. Call another friend. Doot, 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 doot. Nope, not home. All of his friends are out having fun with their boyfriends, their girlfriends, their partners, whatever. So then we get to the chorus. All by myself, don't want to be all by myself anymore. All by myself, don't want to live all by myself anymore. All right, nothing confusing about that. Okay. The next verse has a couple of vocabulary words we need to make sure you understand in order to understand the song. But that chorus, that's pretty easy. He doesn't like the fact that he's lonely. He doesn't like the fact that he's all alone. Don't want to be all by myself anymore. Don't want to live all by myself anymore. Pretty clear. Okay, so now the next verse, again, we have like a couple of important vocabulary words that might not be clear here. So we start out hard to be sure. Okay, so he's not, I don't know. For me, personally, when you say hard to be sure here, This is a even though this is just one line, this might be the most difficult line in the whole song, because sometimes it's okay to be by yourself, right? If you've been in bad relationship, whatever, hey, you get out of it. It's just good to be by yourself. So it's not always terrible. Even though this is mostly a sad song, maybe not. So we start out hard to be sure. Sometimes I feel so insecure, and love so distant and obscure remains the cure. All right. So what he's saying is he is not sure about getting himself into love again. That's why he feels insecure. Insecure, what that word means, in case you don't know that word, it means you're not confident in yourself. And I can think about this in my own life. I mean, the first relationship I was insecure. Insecure means you're not confident. And so when you're not confident, sometimes you accept a relationship you shouldn't. I should have never accepted my first relationship I was in because it was bad. I did because I felt so insecure. And so actually Eric Carmen with these words is actually doing better than I was, because he starts out with hard to be sure. At least he's questioning it. He's not sure. Feels so insecure. Love so distant and obscure. Obscure. What does that word mean? Obscure. That's a big word. Obscure. Okay, well, you think of distant. Okay, we already said okay, so that first word, love so distant, means it's far away. Okay, means we can't maybe get it. So we can't get the love. Obscure means something that's not easy to see. Like if you think about when it's foggy, it's not very often foggy here in Bangkok, but every once in a while it is. Or if there's really bad smog, that's not as bad as fog. So that's probably not the best example. But even still, if you're trying to see far away, when we have very high PM 2.5, it's kind of obscure if you're trying to see far away. That's what it means. You can't see it. So love so distant and obscure means you can't reach it, you can't see it, you can't get love. But then he says, remains the cure. In other words, he understands that in order to not feel lonely anymore, he needs the love. He needs someone. But he also understands that it's hard to get. It's distant and obscure. He doesn't know if he'll get it, but that's the solution. He needs it. So this is someone who's really kind of desperate for love, but it's hard. Hard to be sure. Sometimes I feel so insecure. It's hard because if you're really desperate for it, you might accept someone you shouldn't. That's what I did. And it's a mistake. You shouldn't do that. Keep your standards high. Make sure it's the right person. So it's a hard thing to do. And that's one of the reasons this is a great song, because he recognizes that. Okay, so then after that, honestly, he just repeats the chorus. So that's actually it. We don't have many lyrics here. We do have some things we needed to talk about, but the lyrics are pretty short. And that's a good thing because he repeats them a lot. We have the instrumental part in the middle. So it's a long song. So in order to finish our show in time, we cannot go on forever here on the lyrics, and we don't need to. That's it. he goes back to the chorus. All by myself, don't want to be all by myself anymore. All by myself, don't want to live all by myself. And then it just goes back to when I was young, I never needed anyone. Making love was just for fun. Those days are gone. So it goes back to the first verse and then back to the chorus again. And that's it. So we're done with this song. All right. So Eric Carmen does have fewer hits than most of the people we talk about here. I mention that because I always advise you to go look at the other music from these groups, these bands, these singers that we talk about. But this is such a good song. I don't want you to overlook Eric Carmen. I don't want you to overlook him. So he's got at least one great song. I mentioned he had another song in a movie. That was Hungry Eyes. It was in the movie, I believe it was in Dirty Dancing. I think that's correct. It was in the movie Dirty Dancing, I think. Pretty sure. Hungry Eyes. Very popular song. Probably his second most famous song. Some people may even say it's more popular than this. Some people may say it's his most popular song. If it wasn't for the movie, it certainly wouldn't be. So I would still put All by Myself as his most popular song. But he did have a couple of other really good songs. Some of them he did as a solo artist after he broke up with the Raspberries, but the Raspberries did them as well. So you may want to check out the Raspberries too, so you can see some of their songs. So he doesn't have a ton of big hits. You're not going to hear 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 big hits. I believe it was last week we did Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young. Neil Young was with them sometimes, not with them other times. So it's either Crosby, Stills, Nash or Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. You can find like 50 big hits that they've done. Eric Carmen, as good as he is, you're not going to find that. But this is not his only big hit. So, he just passed. Show him some respect. Go out there, listen to his music. He's got at least a few other good hits you can listen to. Hungry Eyes, again, very popular. Came from the movie Dirty Dancing. Again, I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. So that was in the movie Dirty Dancing. Very popular. Go listen to more of his music. He's extremely talented. He probably should be more popular than he is, actually, because a song like this one that we just did today, All by Myself, yeah, it's kind of sad. So I guess some people might not like it because they want to be uplifted by music. And this is a sad song, but it's really good. It's really good. When he talks about hard to be sure, sometimes I feel so insecure. Love is distant and obscure. Remains the cure. The cure. That's like the solution to something. So love is distant and obscure. Hard to find, hard to get to. Still the answer. It's a really great song. This is an awesome song by Eric Carmen. So give him some respect. Go listen to more of his music. Worth listening to. Great artist. Sadly, he passed away too young. I mean, he was old. 74. That's pretty old. But it's not like he was 90 or 100. So still too young. Passed away too young. So Go show him some respect. Go listen to more of his songs. Okay, thank you for joining us for today's episode of Musical Musings. Please stay with us. Make sure you tune back in next week where I have a really interesting song for you by a very interesting band. It is interesting. And please make sure you remember to subscribe to our channel.
Musical music.